Welcome to the Full Dive Gaming Podcast, bringing you a full dive of all the news, discussion, and insights you need for virtual reality gaming. This podcast is brought to you by Asterion Products. And if you're seeing us here on YouTube today, you're going to see some gorgeous VR merch that we're wearing from them. Unfortunately, it doesn't ship to Canada quite yet, but Lipnox will be repping here soon too. But if you go to AsterionProducts.com and use code FULLDIVE, you're going to save $5 on a VR mug with a unicorn on it, or a sweater,
or a snail,
or all kinds of Beat Saber frog. There's all kinds of designs. Gotta check them out. And you know me, I'm Jay Brad. I'm a VR YouTuber.
And I'm Nat Brat, a VR enthusiast who wants to visit more big cities in VR.
And I'm Lipnox VR, a VR YouTuber who couldn't be happier to be hanging out with my two best buddies, Jay and Nat.
It's been a minute. I'm glad to be back.
It's been too long. I love this. It makes me so happy to be on this podcast. I have such a good time with you guys.
Yay!
That warms my heart to hear that. And for all the listeners out there, if you don't know, if you're new to it, we're here. We're keeping you up to date in the VR realm with the good feels. We answer questions from all of you out there. We talk about the VR news, the games we've played. And whether you're listening to us or come see us on YouTube, we're here both platforms for you. And we got some Q&A questions. Lip, is Thanksgiving a thing in Canada?
So Thanksgiving is broken in Canada, and I'm convinced of this. We celebrate it in October, and I don't even notice it every time it happens. And then when American Thanksgiving happens, I'm like, yes, Thanksgiving. Oh, it already happened. Well, that sucks. I've for the last 5 years, I just celebrate American Thanksgiving because it makes more sense. Honestly, you get more football games, you get all the Christmas or TV specials. It's just I don't even understand why Thanksgiving is different. I guess they have Remembrance Day in Canada for the veterans, and maybe that's the reason it's different. But I've been on this whole train of American Thanksgiving makes sense. Mid-November, yes. But you're right before Black Friday. This is the time you want to remember your family members again. But October doesn't work. I'm in pre-Halloween. I'm in pre-Halloween. You can't make me think I can't celebrate Thanksgiving before Halloween.
That's right.
It doesn't make sense.
What is that thing they do on the Office Ladies podcast where a deep dive or something? We don't usually go off on terrible tangents here, but I just Googled it real quick to find out why is Thanksgiving different in Canada. And it says we
just started a whole thing.
A whole different episode.
This is now a Thanksgiving podcast.
We just created a whole new channel now. We're just talking about holidays now.
It says the main factor in choosing that date is that harvests tend to arrive earlier than it does in America. So it's based on when the harvest comes, everybody's happy. They've got all their crops and food ready, so they'd celebrate Thanksgiving sooner, basically due to the climate differences. So we learned something today. But speaking of whether it's Canada Thanksgiving or American Thanksgiving, Block asked, what did you have, Lip? What did you have for Thanksgiving?
So I guess this is Thanksgiving right now, and I had chili yesterday, and my mom sent me some. So my dad makes chili,
turkey chili,
and it's the only thing he can cook that's delicious. But every time he cooks it, it is so delicious, but it's completely different every time. It's completely mixed bag. You have no idea what you're getting. But every time it's somehow good. So, you know what? Thank you, Dad. Good job on the chili. But and I also had pork schnitzel and potatoes that they also sent me. But
potatoes.
I've been recently sick, and I'm feeling a lot better now, so you can probably hear. But they are old. I don't want to risk getting them sick. So stayed home this weekend.
Makes sense. Nat, well, what did we have for Thanksgiving?
We did a Thanksgiving brunch with some family where we had it was just basically breakfast, eggs, hash browns, and whatnot.
Cinnamon rolls.
We made cinnamon rolls. And then we had a Thanksgiving dinner with some other family where we had the normal thing, the turkey, the mashed potatoes, stuffing, sweet potatoes. I made a green bean casserole that I really liked and ate probably more of than anyone else. And rolls. I made gluten-free rolls and no one wanted them.
So what is this bean casserole thing you mentioned? Because it sounds delicious. I need more information than just bean casserole. What are the ingredients in this thing? Is it beans and potatoes or what's going on here?
Okay, so it's green bean casserole. So it's green beans, and usually you use cream of mushroom soup, but I made my own cream of mushroom soup. And so it's basically just a casserole that has green beans, mushrooms, cream of mushroom soup, and then I did some fried shallots on top. And yeah, it's very yummy. Mushroomy.
It was.
So
creamy,
my trick in
delicious.
cooking, because I can't cook, is that I'll just boil noodles and put cream of mushroom soup in it, and every time it's amazing. And I feel like I'm a
Nice.
chef.
That's awesome. That
It's the
sounds
cheat
yummy.
code of life.
Everyone try this now. Anyone that doesn't know how to cook.
If you don't know how to cook, just boil noodles, make sure they're chewy enough, drain the water, and then just heat up some soup, open the can, just dump it in there, and you're good. You are set. You've made dinner.
Sweet.
It is dangerous to get on the subject of food on this podcast because we will never get back.
We need to
on
get
track.
back to VR. We talked enough about Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Let's talk about Polaris.
Nat, we got a question here, formerly known as Shafe Dog, Mr. Zircon Keelyu.
Oh.
Nat, what's the question?
Changed his name. This question is, I thought the Polaris motion sickness device was supposed to help guide the adhesive pieces to the correct spot and release the handle. Either way, it doesn't sound like it was great. So, J-Brat, do you want to tell us about this interesting motion sickness device?
So, Shape Dog was curious about this Prism XR motion sickness band thing for VR that they advertised that's supposed to use a combination of pressure points and aromatherapy to keep you from getting sick in VR. And unlike other ones, this doesn't go around your wrist. It goes around your neck. It goes around the back of your neck, attaches basically to the soft spot right behind your jaw, pushes in there with these little tips on it that have aromatherapy in them to release smells. And yeah. It was horrible. I not only was super uncomfortable.
Sounds horrible. It sounds terrible.
Every time
I was like, what in the world are they even talking about? I tried to read it. I read it twice. I was like, I'm glad this isn't for me.
Well, the tricky thing too, so the aromatherapy, you unpeel the thing to activate it, and then it's sticky. So these sticky tips stay directly on the spot on your neck where the whole band is holding. So every time you try and turn your head, the band doesn't turn with you. It's like having a freaking C-clamp on the back of your neck that won't move when you try and move your head. So you feel it jamming you in these soft spots by your jaw every time you turn your head. And
isn't aromatherapy supposed to be like smells?
Yeah, well, the tips smell.
You're explaining.
It was both. It's like getting punctured with a stinky needle. It was rough. Well, and then of course I don't get motion sick in VR. I don't get the nausea, but I can get a little bit of the lightheaded stuff if I really play a terrible, terrible game. So I put on Power Wash Simulator because for some reason on Quest 3 so far, this thing is terribly jittery.
Yes. It's the worst reviewed game ever. I swear, every person that plays it is like, I expected amazing, and I got complete garbage.
Oh, well, and I
people
pushed
like
myself.
that game.
It was.
Don't do it on Quest 3 because it's jittery, apparently.
I got myself real sick feeling, and I had a neck ache from the band on top of that. So that thing was just, it did the opposite effect. Yeah. Well, yeah, it was so bad. Do not recommend.
I felt a little motion sick even reading the question. So
yeah.
Oh man.
So Prism XR has a couple other good products, but that is not one of them. I do not recommend it. And then we had one more question also from I can't stop calling him Shave Dog. It's just Shave Dog in my mind, but Mr. Zircon
he's still Shave Dog. He can call himself anything he wants, but he's Shave Dog to me.
The Discord member formerly known as Shave Dog.
I think it's a bad guy from like Conker's Bad Fur Day or one of those kind of games from back in the day that had a good sense of humor. But he asked one more question. He said, Jay, what's the biggest negative to having your channel explode to what it is now? And so those of you who don't follow the J-Brat channel, basically since the Quest 3 has launched, things have really, really taken off. I think we've gained like 11,000 subscribers in the last 2 months. Yeah. We're over 60.
I've not been paying attention.
Yeah.
I remember when you hit 50 and I was like, wow, he's like legit. I'm just hanging out with a celebrity now.
Well, yeah, I don't know about all that, but basically he wants to know, obviously that's everyone's, when you're doing YouTube and stuff, you want the growth that gives you more opportunities, that helps you reach more people, helps get your message further out there. But he said, what's the biggest negative? And to be honest,
way to bring it down, Shave Dog.
Yeah, I think it's a valid question though, because everybody can assume the positives. That's not hard to imagine. True. But I will say, like even as Lipnox was saying here, like time has been tough lately. Like we have not done this podcast together as the three of us in a minute. Yeah. Like I haven't been connecting with people in the community as much. Like there's so much happening. traveling and all these things that I just like, I feel like I'm not as rooted with all of the people as I want to be, because I used to respond to every single comment that came in, every comment that came on my channel. And it's like, that's not going to happen again. I still, whenever I post a video, I'll sit there for the first hour that new video is out, and I'll respond to every new comment on that video and any other comments that roll in during that time. But it's been like, I really want to catch up on comments, and I have to try to accept that I just may never catch up again. I just may have to accept that I'll see some here and there and I'll respond and say, hey, but getting every single comment is just probably not a thing.
Set up a chat bot to respond to every comment.
I'm feeling lucky. He responds to all of my comments.
I try. I do. If I see yours come in,
VIP.
If I see one from you,
he responds to my comments, and he also comments on my videos too. So he's got time for me at least. He's just not as important.
It's about priorities.
Here first.
Yes. So to all of you out there who have been following, the podcast also has been doing very well. The podcast is almost at 4,000 subscribers, which for a YouTube-based podcast is huge. That's massive. So thank you for showing up here. I looked it
up. We're like top 5 for all of the YouTube podcasts for subscriber count right now.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, everybody.
And most of those podcasts, that's all they do. That's the only thing they do.
Yeah. So it's been an amazing couple months. Thank you, everyone. A lot's happening, and if it keeps up this way, I don't know. We're talking about Nat maybe quitting her day job and coming on full time with me and helping me with stuff because I need the help. So we'll see what happens. That's a little early to do all that, but at this rate,
it'll become the Nat and Lip podcast when Jay's so busy.
Aww.
You know, I am the only person who was on the beginning of this podcast who has never missed a single episode.
That is true.
I have been on every episode of this podcast. That's one thing I'm proud of. The day that I miss one and you guys have to do it without me will be a sad day for me, but it might happen someday. Maybe one of these developer interviews, I'll let you guys handle it without me. We should get the developers of Power Wash on, and you two can just roast the crap out of them.
Oh,
I'm not good at that. I'm not good at that. You bring the developers on, I have to be all nice to them.
I cannot be mean. It's like something someone created. Even when we have encountered games that were not very good, but we talk to developers, I just do not have the heart to be like, this was terrible.
I'm the opposite. I get a drawing from a 5-year-old of me and I'm like, what is this? And freaking tear it in half. I have no shame in telling anyone how bad of a job they've done.
So remember Grid Legends?
Yes.
I liked Grid Legends, but I feel like Grid Legends, you press a couple buttons and it's kind of an okay VR game. I feel like Power Wash was the same buttons they pressed, but Power Wash is not the same thing as racing.
They went the other way with it.
It's just a badly optimized cleaning simulator.
Yeah. I'm hoping they'll listen and change it because people love that game, but we've got so much else to talk about. We got news.
Actually, good games to talk about. Some zombie related things, perhaps.
Yeah, we got some good games. We got some other games. Before we get to that, though, we got to talk about the news. And the news, we got to thank our sponsor one more time real quick. Asterion Products, sweaters, mugs, other VR merch. Check them out. Code FULLDIVE on Asterion Products saves you $5. And as soon as they ship to Canada, Lip's are going to be here matching us too.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about Arizona Sunshine too. But before we do that, Lip, you played Arizona Sunshine 1. Give the listeners out there, if they don't know,
I played it on PlayStation VR, and it was one of the first PlayStation VR games I ever played. And so, what was your question about it?
Did you play it with aim controller?
I played it with both. I did have the aim controller, and I played it with the Move controllers. But what was your specific question?
If one of our listeners out there doesn't really know what the Arizona Sunshine franchise is, what is it?
It's basically a linear shooter with zombies that has a kind of redneck-ish attitude to the narration and directing that feels like it's kind of trying to be a spoof of like Dawn of the Dead type of movies. And it mostly, does that. But it has this amazing thing that when we were new to VR, like it was a new game for VR, was super legit. And I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, you could play co-op. And that was pretty legit, but I personally will also say, and not to distract from Arizona Sunshine 2, but I never liked Arizona Sunshine 1. I thought it was glitchy and broken. I dropped my ammo clips constantly that were still full of ammo, and every time I played it, I struggled with ammo and I felt motion sick. But it was
Not
I
good.
played on PSVR 1, and it was an early game for me, so I'm not gonna hate
Maybe
too
you
much.
just
But it
didn't
was cool they had co-op.
optimize your tracking enough for the game.
Well, once I watched Jay's video, it actually did work a lot better. Now that you mention that.
There you go.
Well,
I
we
loved
are.
Arizona Sunshine. It was so fun.
It is a well-beloved game. It is one of the most requested even still at like VR arcades. When people go in, they want to play Arizona Sunshine. And a big part of that is the co-op. People saw videos of buddies playing this, laughing the whole time, having a good time. And although, yes, some of it was kind of broken, especially on PlayStation VR, that sometimes added to the fun if you were playing co-op because you're the other guy. They always looked like they were falling down when they were running. And it was hilarious to watch your buddies
their
try to
little
run
legs
around.
are all flopping all over the place. It was hilarious.
Yeah, sometimes they look like they were swimming in the air when they were running. They all of a sudden were laying down prone for no reason and floating through the air shooting zombies.
Amazing.
But with what they've learned from the jank, Vertigo Games has Arizona Sunshine 2 dropping on December 7th. They say it's going to have the same amazing post-apocalyptic action with more mechanics, more fun, and a dog by your side. What do you think, Lep? Do you want a dog?
I'm not going to go too in-depth on this, but when it comes to dogs in VR, I love dogs in VR. I played a terrible PSVR game and still loved it somehow. That I was a dog in VR. We're not going to talk about that. But I will say,
yes.
I also played Pets VR, where you had your pet dog, and I thought that was kind of cool too. And Fallout is one of my favorite video game franchises ever, where you have dog meat, who is your dog companion. So give me a dog in a post-apocalyptic world. I'm sold. That's all I need.
Nice.
I actually told the Walking Dead people, I said my most requested feature was that they give me a dog companion, and apparently Vertigo Games was listening to that comment, and they're like, "Don't worry, we got you, Lip. We got
you.
We'll give you the dog."
Nat, what do you think?
I am very excited because I haven't played Arizona Sunshine in a while, and it's always good to have a reason to get into a well-beloved game. Always fun to have a doggy friend, and I'm excited for all the new stuff. There's supposed to be like flamethrowers and stuff in Arizona Sunshine 2 and more gore, which, why not?
Yeah, I'm excited. I will say, I am an animal lover in real life. If you ask me if I want a kid or a kitten, I'm going to choose the kitten every time, hands down. I don't trust games typically that have an animal in them, though, because they always try to get you in the feels by killing off the animal at some point. And so I'm very worried about this game.
Fable 2. And Last of Us 2 for that. Last of Us 2 was dirty about it, though.
Oh, spoiler alert, apparently, because I will say, I know I haven't played the game yet, but I know that the Blair Witch game, you have a dog companion, and it doesn't have to die. I know that much. Like, it can or it can't, depending on how you play.
That's even worse.
That's even worse. Yeah, it's like it may not have had to happen, but I never trust games that give you an animal because I know I just have a bad feeling they're going to kill it off right at the end to hit you in the emotions. And so I am worried about that. I don't think
Arizona Sunshine would do that. It's such a fun, silly game.
They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that to us. They would not. It's not a feeling game. It's like a kill things and have fun game.
I hope so. I just have a bad fear of and I haven't played it yet.
It would be a weird thing for them to get all emotional. Like I've Arizona Sunshine 1, at no point was I was like, oh, I'm so sad the world is dying because of zombies. Like, no, it was like, no, I'm blasting these guys. Don't mess with me.
Like a screaming, fighting ending to the game where the dog sacrifices itself and you're trying to shoot this horde of zombies right at the end. I could see some dirty trick like that right at the end of the game. And then you get saved at the last second when you're basically trying to just kill yourself along with all these zombies or something. I could see some dirty ending like that, like an I Am Legend, basically.
Oh, I was just thinking about that. I Am Legend.
I love I Am Legend, but I hate that part of the movie so badly. More spoilers, yes, but
awful.
The movie came out 20 years ago.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it by now, I am nervous. I don't think Vertigo Games do it, but I do know game companies have a tendency when they give you a pet, they want to get the emotion that brings out is how they win awards. That's how they get you. And I am very scared of something like that in this game.
That would be terrible.
I will just say, I'm Fable 2 also came out 20 years ago. They gave me 3 choices. One of them was to resurrect the dog. I was like, yeah, everyone dies. I don't need money. I want the dog.
That's right.
Priorities here.
Yeah. It looks great, though. The game looks good. They say co-op is back, but they say that the game is narrative-driven. It is story-driven. It's not an open world. And if you play it single player, you're going to get that narrative. You're going to get the story. But if you play it co-op, it's more of like a friend simulator, fun, post-apocalyptic thing. It's not going to follow the story quite as intensely. So if you want to get the real game experience, you need to play it single player and then go back for some co-op fun. I'm excited. I'm obviously going to play it. I will miss the aim controller. That was my favorite way to play number one, was with the aim controller. Because on PSVR with the motion controllers, it was tough. It was janky. The movement was all wrong. But the aim controller, you now had two-handed weapons in your hand. You had the good feeling of the aim controller, and you had the joysticks to move. That made that game so much better. I'm going to miss that for this one for sure.
So that being said, have either of you ever played the Quest version, which for years was the top-selling Quest game? Have you ever played that version? I never did. So.
I haven't either.
I think I definitely played the PC side of it. So I think I've played, but the nice thing about Arizona Sunshine when it came to playing it on like Quest or PSVR with motion controllers, it didn't have you use two-handed weapons necessarily. Then it went with pistols. So it never felt like you were holding an M16 weird because your hands were flopping around. And so it always still felt really good no matter what way you played the game, except maybe with the PSVR move wands. But what can you do?
Except for when you're dropping the ammo and you have to like scatter around the ground to find which clip still has bullets in it.
That could have been user error.
I think that might have been, but I also think that they took the ammo clip part too intensely, and it was still like I could press a button several times while trying to figure out the controls and lose all my ammo.
Yeah. Well, they made it
to do.
They made it realistic in the respect that in real life, when you reload a weapon, your bullets from the last mag don't automatically go back into your next mag. Like if you drop a mag with 10 rounds still in it, that mag is on the ground with 10 rounds. And so it was kind of helpful in co-op though, because if my friend ran out of ammo, I could click and drop 4 mags for them to pick up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
but if you were messing up, and especially with the PSVR move controllers, it was hard to remember which freaking button
the move
was
controls.
turn.
You look at all the buttons and you're just like, what button do I press? I press every one and all of them are doing something bad.
Yeah. That I don't miss that controller at all.
Yeah. Not this one. I got the same buttons on 2 controllers, and all 18 of these controller buttons do something different. Skyrim? It's like, how do I even duck in this game?
That takes me back. That takes me back to some bad memories.
We talked a lot about the Arizona Sunshine. Let's talk about another headset.
Yes. So as we were talking about, Thanksgiving and stuff earlier, just in time for those holiday moments, those Thanksgiving and Christmas moments, Apple has released an update to the iPhone 15 allowing for spatial video capture. Unfortunately, Apple users won't be able to actually watch these spatial videos as spatial videos until the Apple Vision Pro comes out. So they can take the videos, the phone will capture the video from 2 different video streams from different lenses to create a 3D video with added depth. But when you're looking at it on the phone, it's just going to look like a normal video. So basically, people will be able to like capture their beautiful family moments, but won't be able to watch them until they get that Apple Vision Pro headset, which genius marketing as always. So I wanted to open it up to everybody. What do we think about the incredible depth of the spatial videos and photos? What do we think about taking these videos before and not being able to watch them until people get the Apple Vision Pro headset?
So I've already seen people have figured out a trick to watch these videos on Quest 3s.
Oh,
so, just buy Quest 3 and you can watch all those videos. You can just go.
That's good to know.
Just tell Apple, no, I'm not waiting. I've got it now. Quest 3. Or probably Quest 2. Maybe even a Quest 1 can do it, honestly.
I've
never tried it, but I know you can do it.
It's just a 3D video. It's just a 3D video like any other 3D video. And VR headsets could always watch 3D videos. You just have to get it off of an iPhone. They would have done
something to it to where it wouldn't work because, Apple always has their proprietary stuff. But I guess you can't do that with everything.
I mean, let's be honest here. Apple wants everyone to watch these videos on their Quest 3s, so they think the pass-through is better and buy the Vision Pro.
Good point.
Like, that's the reality of it. The marketing is, no, we won't give it to you for the people that are super legit that won't figure out the tech things. But the hardcore people that will be like, oh, actually, it looks like it's better. I'm going to buy that.
Yeah, True.
It's hitting both markets at once. It's genius.
It is. They are so good at marketing. What do you guys think? Have you seen the videos like from, I mean, it's only from like their ad, but have you seen the videos of the incredible depth spatial videos? I feel like it just looks like it's like, ooh, a 3D video. Like it's not really VR. It's just like looking into a window. Is it worth it? Will it really bring that memory back to life?
I think that in the right scenario, like if you were on like a vacation, you went to a really beautiful spot and you want to like be able to relive going to that spot, it's going to feel a little bit more like it than looking at a photo is. But the big problem is like 3D TVs flopped. A lot of 3D technology did not survive the whole 3D revolution. So there's not that many ways you can really share this besides going back and looking at your Vision Pro headset by yourself. Maybe Apple's going to bring back 3D TVs again. I don't know. But in the meantime,
I have my PlayStation 3D display right over there. I can watch it. I can show you right now. I have the 3D glasses. I can bring it out. But I mean, the honest reality is that this super ability that they apparently have, the Quest can do it. You like Open PC Reviews and another guy have made things to record in 3D on your headset already. Meta didn't even think this was important enough to even include it in their headset, and Apple's selling it as a standard feature. Like I just don't really understand why people would care.
Yeah,
it just seems like, oh yeah, let's just use up all the storage space. No, just all of it. We're gonna record 3D videos side by side, 50K. You know, your 16 gigabyte Vision Pro is gonna fill up with one photo.
Yeah, they better have a big storage on that.
I hope so. It's gonna be cloud. They're gonna use the cloud as the storage and make you pay for that.
Oh, true.
That's what the trick is.
Yeah, it's interesting they did this before the holidays. I don't think this is going to create a big splash yet. This is going to be one of those gimmicks that people go, wow, the Vision Pro can do this once they have a Vision Pro. But then once people actually try it, they're going to be like, well, all my videos I post are in 2D. Why would I want to take 3D videos? So we'll see what happens once the Vision Pro finally launches. But until then, I don't know. I think this is definitely another gimmick. And I'm not going to go get an iPhone 15 Pro so that I can install the beta and then take some spatial videos this holiday season. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know,
I could
also,
care less.
They are like, oh yes, those amazing family moments. I mean, some people maybe like to hang out with their families, but like I feel like a lot of times people are just stressed out by their families and don't really want to remember all the holiday memories.
Remember the argument? Now you can remember that argument in 3 dimensions. You got a Quest 3 now. We're talking about the Quest 3. We've been telling you about it for a while. How do you feel about the Quest 3 and everything we said? Is it living up to it? Is it falling on its face? What are you thinking?
It honestly, I've pondered it since I got the headset. I love how comfortable this headset is. The way I've set it up, it is unbelievably comfortable. I never need to wipe off the lenses like I used to on the Quest 2 anymore. It's just perfect to put on. And the color pass through, sometimes it's not as good, but it's still a color pass through, and your eyes will do the work and it'll figure it out for you. It's still cool, but the problem for me is when I see endless comments saying that everyone that on Quest 3 is having performance issues on Assassin's Creed and everyone on Quest 2 isn't. And I'm like, well, that's weird. And then I look more into these things and I'm just like, well, the whatever 80% or whatever nonsense they said for performance, developers are telling me 20% is the actual difference. And I mean, it's a super cool headset, and if you got money, it's awesome. But I don't think that I feel like it's the same thing when I had a PS4 and they released the PS4 Pro. And until Meta does something that makes me convinced otherwise, I love the headset. I love Meta and I love what they do for VR. But when a Quest 2 is already in your hands and a Quest 3 costs $600 that you may or may not have, I just don't think that your $600 is something that you should, if that $600 means a lot to you, just enjoy your Quest 2, because it's not that big of a difference. It's nice. It's super nice. And I guarantee you in 2 years, there's going to be applications that take advantage of that extra power, but it's a hard, I love the headset. I hate Not saying it's not worth it, but I'm happy I bought it. But it's also not worth it for most people.
Yeah. And the Quest 2, like you said, definitely holds up well and is a great headset in itself.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's because the Quest 2 is so good that the Quest 3 doesn't feel as big of a jump.
Do you think that's why they advertised the mixed reality so heavily? Because it was like the one thing the Quest 2 really couldn't do as well.
And they pushed it, and they made it way better on the Quest 3 versus the Pro, but the pass-through is massively better, and it's like, did they just give me a Quest 2 with color pass-through, or did they give me a Quest 3? And I'm like,
Yeah, I feel as I've spent more time with the Quest 3, it reminds me of the early days of the Quest 2, weirdly, because the early days of the Quest 2 is still running at 72 hertz. Like, it was like, whoa, why did we just get this headset? But it came out cheaper than the Quest 1. So no one was going to complain, really, because it was like, this thing's cheaper. But now with the Quest 3, suddenly you're paying a premium. And the lens clarity, the thinness of the pancake lenses, like those things to me more than make up for it. But it is also a little cheaper in America, from what I've heard, than it is in Canada. You're having to pay an extra premium to make that leap. Is that
it was like correct? $700 for my 128 gigabyte Quest. $733, I think I paid.
So yeah, it's but I think that just like the Quest 2, now the Quest 2 can run 120 hertz. Like the Quest 3 will advance quickly now that it's been out there. But the problems you're saying too about developers, they didn't give this headset to hardly anybody before launch. So Assassin's Creed developers had to suddenly, now we've got Quest 3s in hand. Let's finish this game and get it out on time. And not everything's been perfectly optimized to the Quest 3 because they were working on Quest 2s for so long. Some games are still running better on Quest 2. We will catch up, but it does kind of feel like we're early adopters again, buying a Quest 3 right now, when not everything is just 110% better. It's like some things are worse. It's weird.
Yeah.
So this is a equation that has come to my head. What if the Quest 3 has had a decent boost in sales right away, but next year, when everyone says, I can buy a Quest 2 for $200 or a Quest 3 for $600, they just keep buying Quest 2s, and developers don't actually make Quest 3 optimized games because they know that most of the market is Quest 2.
That's where this Quest Lite that's supposedly coming that could replace the 2 might win out and help.
Which will just be a Quest 2 with color pass-through.
Or they'll drop the price on the 3. Yeah, because ultimately they need the 3 to succeed and take over. But right now the problem is the Quest 2 is saturated out there because the Quest 2 came out at an amazing price. It came out during a pandemic. It came out when all of the freaking Xboxes and PS5s, the new ones, were sold out that everybody wanted that Christmas. And so employers went to stores to buy them for raffles. Parents went to buy them for kids, and those things were sold out. So they all grabbed Quest 2s because it was like the only thing in stock that was new and fresh, and tons of people got them that would have never gotten them. The Quest 3 is launching in a completely different scenario, and its price puts it up there with those expensive consoles that the kids have been saying now they want for 2 or 3 years. A lot of people aren't going to have them under the tree this year, potentially. So we'll see.
My thing is when I bought my Nintendo Wii, I stood in line for this Nintendo Wii, and it was awesome. I get these motion controls, but I had Zelda Twilight Princess right there, day one. For Quest 3, if it wasn't for the vampire game, I would be a lot more negative right now. I'm just saying that vampire game was legit.
And it's also available on Quest 2.
Thank you, Fast Travel Games, for that game, because if not for that, I would be way less optimistic about Quest 3.
And we've got a lot we're talking about here. We should probably just jump in since we're on the subject and talk about Vampire: The Masquerade Justice. Tell us how you're feeling about Lip. I don't think we've played as much as you have.
So I think it's amazing, and I think it's one of the best VR games I've ever played, and I think that they basically took everything wrong with Hitman VR and then fixed it and turned it into vampires. And I love it. You can literally... Okay, I'm just going to say this. Like, when I did this ninja kick and the guy ragdoll flew across the screen into the wall, I was like, yes. And shortly after that, it gives me a new power where I can just crush my hand and their head explodes. Oh my God.
So great.
I don't like. I love the fact that like VR is going to be always janky. There's no way around it. But you need to have ragdoll for VR. I don't want to just see characters and do some terrible acting animation falling down. I want to see their bodies fly into the air completely ridiculously because I super kicked them into infinity. And Vampire the Masquerade Justice does it so well. Fast Travel Games knows what being a VR player is, what playing VR games is. And I think that they have completely made a new Vampire the Masquerade game, which is a classic franchise. It's had many entries, and they've made a perfect VR version of everything that they've been presented. And I think the game rivals it's the same thing as when Walking Dead Saints and Sinners came out for me, but for Quest 3 right now, some of the environments are just magnificent. You look and you're just when you're on the boat at the start, you're like, wow, okay, Quest 3 actually is legit. And maybe it looks like that on Quest 2. I didn't play it on Quest 2. But whatever they did a great job. Voice acting awesome. Has a super cool story. There's so many upgrade things, and there's incentive to replay the levels. I'm climbing around something that looks like I should never even be there, and then I find a new hidden thing, and I'm like, what? This is part of the game? Good job, guys. Good job. Amazing game. Great climbing, great platforming, great stealth, great just ability to create a linear project that works perfectly as a game that still feels like an open world despite being a linear game. I loved it. It's my game of the year. I maybe Lego's better. I don't think so.
Lego's not. I can answer that definitively. This is going to be funny.
Hype levels plummeted. Actually, about the thing I said about Quest 3, it's trash.
It's going to be interesting to talk about this. Nat, I think you should tell us what you feel, because she tried it on PSVR 2 first.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I only played on Quest 3, so.
Yeah, it was, man, I was blown away playing it in the PSVR 2, just the scale of everything.
So
and
good.
It's set in Venice. It's these huge buildings around you, the water to the side, and like you're just walking through. There's just the sky. It just feels like you're in this huge space. It feels amazing. And the head haptics are great in the PSVR 2 when you're like sucking the blood of your enemies.
You feel the vibration, you're like,
yes. Yeah, it's great. And like
I won't do
you
that
can
again.
feel like if there's like heartbeats and stuff like that. The one thing that wasn't great was when you're like sucking the blood of your victims. It's like it feels very odd. Like grabbing them is really weird. I don't know. I played the girl character. I don't know if the girl character is just short. I mean, I'm short. I figured it was just because I'm short, but like I'm shorter than all of like my victims, so I have to like pull them down. It doesn't work that well. It's kind of weird. But the head
I
haptics
accidentally
were great.
played as the girl character because I thought it was just skinny arms. And then I started the game and I was like, oh, that's not the right voice.
Were you short in the game?
I mean, with the headset, the Quest, I sit down for everything almost unanimously now. So seated mode just put me whatever it wanted, and I just accepted it as how it was supposed to be.
Gotcha.
But I might have been short. I don't remember being overly short, but at the same time, it didn't bother me in any way. But I wasn't standing up, so that would make a difference.
Yeah. I just felt like I had to like bring people down, which was kind of weird, but man, it looked so good. The only thing that was really frustrating was the Mura is very distracting in the PSVR 2. And for those of you that aren't VR veterans, the Mura is kind of like, it's like a sort of blurry overlay, like you're looking through a dirty lens. Almost is what it kind of looks like. And so it's just
so you
always
constantly want to
there
take off and scrub it down, and then when you scrub it, it's still there.
Right. Yes. And so it's like in some games you go through and you forget it's even there because it's just super good, and like certain colors it doesn't show up, but this game it is just always there, and it was distracting and frustrating. But man, the game was great. The load time, lightning fast in the PSVR 2. I really noticed that when
even Quest, it was fast. It was fast on Quest 2. Or Quest 3.
When I went to Quest 3 after playing it PSVR 2, I was like, these load times are taking forever because it was so fast on the PSVR 2. It took like a couple seconds and I was like, oh my goodness, because on PSVR 2, it was like no time. And so, but it looks great still in the Quest 3. It does look a little more like you can notice that stuff isn't as textured and stuff. Like it looks a little more simple. But what I was really happy about is in Quest 3, it still looks big and vast. It doesn't mess with the scale of it at all, which was great. And climbing in Quest 3 is better and doesn't make you feel kind of sick like in the PSVR 2. So
Yeah, I love
that's
the climbing.
nice.
One thing, like the game totally nailed that. I don't know if anyone else has even mentioned this before, but because they used Venice, they said, well, we never want people to see crappy outside textures outside of the city. So we're going to line the whole city with buildings. And when I played Assassin's Creed, I get to the top of something, I look out and yeah, the city looks good, but everything else looks like garbage. And it's immediately noticeable, but whatever they did in this game, you never notice that effect. It seems like everything that you see looks awesome and it looks like you're always in a vast giant city.
Yes.
And it just
They
feels like
nailed
there's
it.
an infinite amount of space to explore, even if there's not. And sometimes there's more spaces than you think there is.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say, like, I've talked as much about this game as I could. 100% this is a yay.
Oh,
100% you should buy this
for
game.
sure.
If you like stealth games, if you like ragdoll physics, if you like being a vampire, just buy this game. It's perfect.
Yes.
100%
seriously.
awesome.
It is great. It's so fun. It's so nice to have a story. And it's just fun to just like climb around and look around.
It's
Like,
just
it's just
fun.
fun to be in
It's
Venice.
fun.
It's great.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I guess the thing, it's just a fun game. And we didn't even mention the crossbow thing, but I think that, just add it to the cart. Hopefully Jay can provide a link to save you 25%. But
I think you should, Lip, actually, because I think
I mean,
I'm
if you
maxed
watch my
out.
video, it's there. I've already made like $100 in referral on that game. So
Nice.
go for it.
Yeah, I'll go grab
Go to
your link.
Lipnox's
Yeah.
channel and get that.
Yeah,
discount.
watch my review of all the ninja kicking with ragdoll and head exploding and rat eating. Yeah, that's a thing.
Yes, the rat eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly Vampire the Masquerade Justice, very long drawn out title, but very great game. Easy to recommend for the price.
For sure.
And of course, after you buy that, if you're broke, I'm always on the lookout for something free, a hidden gem. I'm testing free games all the time. And I feel like I really found one this time. So
You
much
did.
so.
You did.
Yeah,
You,
I made
you are
Nat
crazy
and Lip
about
both
this
play
one.
it. Pop Quest Adventure is the title. And
We could have done a whole podcast on this one. We could have done a whole podcast on this one.
Well, it's so funny too, because you see the trailer or you see it and you don't
It looks
grasp
terrible.
what this is gonna be. And then you get in and it's basically this adventure game. It's linear, but you have a gun in each hand that fires tacks in a world of balloons, and it has two fans on it. These fans are your locomotion. You spin these fans up and you're going to be pulled whatever direction you're holding them. And it's just...
Sorry.
No, I see Lips getting some tacks out.
Yes.
Yeah, I have actual tacks. This is your weapon in the game.
Yeah,
That's
you're
amazing.
This is
shooting
your
out
weapon.
different colored tacks. And at first you don't even realize that's what it is because they're like launching until you see one on the ground. You're like, wait, that's just a thumbtack. But it's thumbtacks in a world of balloons. The sun is a balloon. The trees are balloons. Your friends are balloons.
Oh,
and you can
it's
pop
great.
basically anything around you. But the game's, even its little bit of storyline, the voice acting and the humor
It's
in this
great.
game just sell it. Nat, why don't you give us a little synopsis of how you felt, and then Lip, you can jump into.
Loved it. It felt like almost like playing a little Mario game in VR. Like I always kind of say that about Astrobot, but Astrobot's a more like full version. This is just like a little fun Mario-esque game where you're just like, it's like a platformer, kind of. It's not a platformer, but it's like you're going through this area in VR. You have your little friends telling you what the next thing is, which I really like because I get bored if I have too much choice, I guess, in a game. And the humor's great. I was like, oh no, like your little friend is a little bit sassy. And if you accidentally shoot her little balloon dog
Accidentally,
with your
whoops.
tack gun or on purpose, she gets mad at you and she's like, don't you pop my dog? And I'm like, oh no, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's
you might
just
not have
delightful.
discovered. You pop the dog enough and she'll kill you.
Really?
I push the
What?
limits. I push the limits to see, and after a
It's
couple
not
pops,
possible.
she'll shoot you in the
I've killed
face.
her and the dog at least 1,000 times in that game.
I don't know what you have to do in the right order, but she'll finally start shooting you. She'll get
Maybe it's
mad
only
enough.
if you're killing the dog and not her also.
Okay. I mean, I like the dog. It was her that I was killing. She told me to go pop
dogs in
myself, so I
games.
told her to. I gave her a pop herself.
I'm okay with a dog in a game as long as I'm the one killing it.
And it's still rated like G, or it's like G because it's like
I don't
you're
know.
just popping a balloon.
She says go pop yourself.
Mhm.
What
There's
does
a
that
lot of
mean?
Shrek, like adult humor.
Yeah,
that's
that's
like
true.
kids
It's
aren't
I think
going
a
to
Shrek-y.
kid
catch
knows
it.
what "go pop yourself" means. Like,
What was the line they said in
I
when
don't
you were
think mom and
playing
dad
it?
are going to be okay with that line.
Nat, there was something like, are you swelling or something? When you played, do you remember that? They were like,
Oh
oh,
gosh.
is your balloon swelling or are you just happy to see
Oh
me?
yeah, it was something like that, and I was like, "Oh my!" So yeah, very Shrekian, which is
Mhm.
like jokes that would go over a child's head, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
very
So
fun.
I'm just gonna say, I read this outline for the podcast and I see this Pop Quest adventure. I'm like, what even is this game?
Mhm.
They don't cover like nonsense games on this channel, so it must be something that actually came out. I look it up and I'm just like, oh, well, it's free at least. I guess I'll play it. I boot this thing up, and like you said, you get the sassiest intro character that just narrates you the whole time, which is the voice actor for that is amazing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
great job. I hope they got paid for that because they did a great job. Whoever made this game is a pure, just smart ass guy. He's basically that. He's basically that, and the whole thing, he's making just hilarious jokes, and it'll play with you. You shoot the sun, it goes dark. You shoot the dog, she gets mad. You shoot her, she gets really mad. You shoot the person in the death area, well, they got lines too. Like, the loading screen, you can shoot the bubbles. If you have ADD, just play this game. It'll
It's
never
so
stop
fun.
giving you things to shoot. You're just
I
shooting
like
bubbles,
shooting the
balloons,
like
everything
trunk of the
forever.
tree. If you shoot
Yeah,
the trunk of the tree, then the leaves like float around. I was like, "Yay!"
My only concern with this is because it's a 20-minute demo, and you definitely like nailed it, the Mario vibes.
Yes.
I don't know if I like the game as much as the humor. Can the humor maintain a 2-hour experience that'll keep me engaged when I have to start platforming? I mean, it's fun platforming, but it's not fun enough that I want to do it. But the humor,
I
if
sure
there is
would.
more of that humor, I will suffer through all of the warp pipes and floating and shooting things in the world because I love the humor. Whoever made this maybe accidentally made a work of art for comedy VR. And remember when Conker's Bad? I mean, we mentioned Conker's earlier in this exact podcast. Remember when Conker's Bad Fur Day came out and it broke every rule and it said, let's just make a joke of everything. Video games, everything. I feel like this game is doing that same thing. And I feel like because it's a demo, he was testing the waters. But if he's listening right now, get rid of your G rating. Let's just make the most popping pop fest ever and pop everyone's brain to popping infinity.
Yes.
Like, let's just pop it up.
I would definitely play a full game of this because I love just kind of like simple platformy style, linear, like levelly, simple, like this is what you do next, this is what you do next. I like that kind of stuff. So
we didn't talk about this. The movement is entirely your hands with propellers that shoot themselves up, but you can't get too high.
No.
So it works as like a weird platforming mechanism that oddly works better for first-person platforming than anything I've ever played. And it's only possible in VR because of the way the controls work.
Yes.
And this guy might have accidentally just discovered how you do platformers in VR.
Honestly.
Just saying. And it looks like Mario. It does look like Mario. The warp pipes,
Yeah.
It looks like it could be a Mario game.
It does.
Yeah, it's like you have a fan in each hand, and it's kind of like they're propellers, really. So you can like go up like a helicopter if you aim them up, or you can go up with one and forward with the other. You can go forward with both. But the nice thing too is that frees.
So I did not.
Well, it frees the hand too. You can have one of them holding you up and shooting with the other one, and you can also shoot yourself with the pop gun if you didn't figure that out.
That's part of the story. You have to shoot yourself.
Yeah, you have to.
They ask you to.
Yeah. It's just the whole thing is so fun, and I'm with you. I don't know how this would translate if they made a full game. It would have to add more mechanics, I think. You'd have to unlock new mechanics as you went.
Yeah.
But my God, I don't want to give away a lot of spoilers, but there's one moment where you meet a bad guy, and it's just so freaking funny. The way the things they did. You got to just go play this. And trust me, it's like, what, 20, 30 minutes maybe to get through it?
Yeah, pretty short.
I mean, it depends on how much you get stuck in the maze area, but
or how much fun you want to have.
Did you not just shoot the whole maze and go right through? That's what I did.
I definitely did. And then I shot the whole maze again, and then I shot the whole maze again, and then I shot every sign in the maze, and then I realized there was a tunnel to the left. Or right.
Yeah.
It can definitely take more time also if you just want to pop everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to stop popping everything.
Mhm.
It's just it continuously is like, if you're not pressing the trigger every like half of a second, are you playing Pop Quest Adventure?
Honestly,
I don't think so.
it's just
I
delightful.
just don't think so. It's you have to be pressing it all the time. Stuff
That's
needs
right.
to always be pressed.
Yes.
It is. I'm going to try and find the developer of this and reach out to them, honestly, because I had such a
Yes!
good time with
I think
it.
it's Jake Donaldson.
Yep.
I think that's who made it.
Oh my gosh. It'd be so fun to have them on.
They're also a Horizon Worlds developer, it looks like, but wow, they've done a lot. Do you remember Jetpack Vacation? That was on
Yeah, I do.
Gear VR, I think.
Oh.
It has
It
a,
looks
has a
like-
Steam VR port, I think, too.
It looks like they're a part of this. Maybe this isn't the one that was on Gear VR. This looks way better than the one on Gear VR. But yeah, some of these titles
there's
I
a Steam
recognize.
VR version that came out that I played a little bit of that was very physics and very let's be crazy with this kind of game. That little bit of jank, but was ultimately, if you put the time in, crazy fun. A lot of people told me I needed to play it. I played it. I was not very good at it, but if you get good at it, it's crazy.
Yeah. I think we've sang this game's praise enough. It's free. It's on Quest. You just go on Apple. There'll be a link in the description in the comments to this and to Lipnox's discount off Vampire the Masquerade Justice. But Pop Quest is free. You got to do it and then come comment. Let us know what you thought, because I can't find a reason to knock this game. It's free. It's short. It's linear. It's pretty. Everything in it's fun. It's funny. It's just a great example of a VR game, especially for something you don't have to pay for.
Yeah.
I've never laughed so hard. Like,
Yes.
it lets you break the rules, and then it rewards you for breaking the rules.
Yes.
It's just,
I love it.
It's amazing. And if they take that quote and make a whole game out of that, I will give them money for it. But I don't want to just platform around.
Yes, I love it. Well, it's been another great week. We got games we're testing out. I'm going to try and get back to this podcast a little bit more because I do miss it. I miss hanging out with Lip here. Obviously, I hang out with Nat outside of this. She's my wife, but I'm having a good time being back and hopefully here soon.
You guys are married?
Yeah, who knew? Someone had no idea because they were like, I swear the cat in someone's video left and went to another person's video. They don't realize that we're literally one floor apart right now. She's upstairs right now as we're doing this. They're like, it really looked like it was the same cat. Oh, it's hilarious. But hey, if you play Pop Quest, come to join the Discord and tell us especially if you don't like it. I want to know how someone could not like this game.
I don't want to know.
Yeah. You don't want to know?
No. I think on top of that though, if you really actually like this, like, leave a review or do something, because the developer will leave this as a dead project if he doesn't get the feedback he needs, and every one of those reviews will lead to him getting money to fund this project to make an actual game that you want to play, and you have to do that if you want to play more of this. Yeah. That's a requirement. If you liked it, leave a review. I'm going to do it right after this podcast, I promise.
Same. I barely ever review anything, but I'm going to hit them up because they've got 8 reviews right now. They're like all 5 stars, but I'm going to hit them up too. So yeah. And if you play it, go do that.
We did our part already by talking about it. Hopefully more than one person leaves a review so we can cover the 3 of us.
Yes.
There we go. Yes. And hey, if you're out there and you're listening, remember we're here on YouTube. You can come see our beautiful new sweaters that we're matching in. And if you're watching us, but you need us more on the go, take us on the go. We got lots more episodes coming. But once again, thank you so much. Huge months we've had. And if it's time you still haven't gotten into VR, do it. Dive on in.
Dive on in.
Dive on in.